Hey everyone, today we're looking at a Druid Aether Arcanist, a Druid Beam character, as I've been calling it. And it's going to be two builds because I have it across two characters. And before we begin, I have to excuse the quality of this model as I didn't have time to build it to scale or paint it. Um, the builds are kind of rough and their items are kind of rough. But I just wanted to do this more as a proof of concept video than as a huge skill demo or elaborate run through a dungeon. So what we're going to be doing is looking over the two skill trees real quick, just pointing out some items that are probably good to have, and then I'm just going to run these characters to that hallway right before Zarth's Island and just run them through that hallway there. So this video is going to be pretty short. I'm going to try to make it as to the point as possible, and I have a number of reasons for doing this outside of time to record. So let's just jump right into it. So this first one is the vitality side of things, because on disintegration, vitality damage is a damage type that's added to the beam. So what I'm running on the Arcanist side of things is I do have the Aether maxed out, and I have disintegration maxed out, and everything else is pretty much just 1 point here, 1 point there, because the Shaman side required a lot, except for Inner Focus is maxed out, obviously, and my Vin Sphere is at 8, I think. And otherwise everything is going to be a 1-pointer on that side. On the Shaman side of things, I have a couple points in Mogdragon's Pact and Heart of the Wild, because these two are sort of you don't need a lot of points for them to be really good additions. It doesn't, 8 and 2 for health and energy regen don't sound like a lot each, but it does actually add up. Especially if you're an Arcanist that needs a lot of energy regen. And likewise, 12% health, that's a good chunk of health. And the resistance, the reductions aren't bad as well. But the real reason I came to the Shaman side is for the Wendigo Totem. The Wendigo Totem is a great AoE and a heal. And because it's vitality damage, and we're kind of a little bit more geared for vitality damage than a regular Aether character, it's actually going to do some okay damage. Now, for gearing, I don't have it optimized really. But like I said, I want to do this as a skill demo. I say that, and the first thing I'm pointing at is this ridiculous Eldritch Ritual Wand of the Arcane Blaze, and that's just Fire, Vitality, Aether, and that's just Fire, Vitality, Aether. And it also converts some of the physical damage we have to Vitality damage. Oh, I'm not using Kalidor's Tempest here, so that's kind of a little bit of a waste, but I think it's fine. And obviously we have a Wrathstone there. The chest piece is just a Haunted Vestment, just a green Haunted Vestment. It had a little bit of Aether damage, and it's a lot of health. And I threw Kilrian Shattered Soul in there. I think that's your go-to for chest component. Maybe you could get away with a Chains or a Hallowed Ground that had +1 to Albrecht's Aether Ray, but I think Kilrian Shattered Soul, because it's all Vitality and Fire, works great there. Aether Lord Signets, Spirit Weaver Circlet, I think is your best helmet for this, despite its looks. I don't really think there's anything else. I'm going Chthonian Thread Sash there. I mean, it's not the best belt, but it has vitality damage. Haunt. I'm using Haunted Steel. Yeah, it's just, with a little more optimizing, you could probably get the vitality damage up higher, while maintaining the Aether damage. So we're just going to go and jump right into Steps of Torment in that hallway right before the Zarth's Island. So I chose this hallway here because it's a good, gauntlet-y area. And we can actually run through it quite quickly. Or should be able to run through it quite quickly, barring getting hounded by jerks. Now, yeah, you're going to notice my, my regen is not that great on this character. So even though his beam is not like a 26-16 beam, it's still gonna take a lot of energy for him to handle it. But looking at the Wendigo Totem, you can pretty much just sit there. It'll heal you. It'll deal damage. It's actually a really great ability. And you can honestly, you can combine it with the Haunt ability, and you can get this nice like 2 dots going on that'll just wreck pretty much all the trash mobs around you while you use your beam on the big targets. I mean, yeah, it's not as strong as my regular Aether Ray guy, but he gets the job done. It's a pretty solid. The Albrecht's Aether Ray is just a really solid damage ability. So we're just gonna run up here. Bypass those 2 guys. I'm gonna sit on the bridge for a second, so my energy pick up just a little bit. So I mean, yeah, it's still a really solid bit of damage you can dish out with this setup. Mostly because you're gearing an Aether Ray, so having an Aether Ray, like even a little under geared like this guy is still pretty potent. Okay, next up we're gonna grab the Aether Lightning combo. I have to do a okay, this character is a little different from pretty much all the other Aether Ray characters I've done in that I don't have the Arcanist side maxed. That's because we go way deep into Shaman. Now, because I'm repurposing another character with this, if I had the option, I probably would have stopped. I would have even maybe stopped at Raging Tempest, maybe even Heart of the Wild, because I would have actually wanted to make this a full Aether Ray character, but it actually works pretty well right now. So what we've got, we have a few points in Wind Devil, just 1 point in Raging Tempest as a prereq, and then I think it's maxed out Maelstrom. So this is going to be our lightning side of the Lightning Aether concept. I also have Storm Totem, I think maxed out as well. I don't know what my plus to all skills is on this. I think it's just +1 to all, so I think they are both maxed out. And 1 in Mog Dragon Pact, and 1 in Heart of the Wild. On the Arcanist side, max Inner Focus is pretty standard, and then max the Aether Ray. Everything else is all... Oh, and I believe my Event Sphere is at 10. So everything else is 1 pointers, per usual. So what's going on with this build is there's someone on the Grim Dawn forum named Zars who mentioned he wanted to try out taking the physical damage on Wind Devil and using convert to Aether damage items to make it sort of a pseudo Aether damaging ability. And I was like, oh, I have a ton of Aether Lightning gear of all things, in the form of this hat, this offhand, and this chest piece. So I was like, oh, I could attempt that as well. So I decided to attempt it. And in doing so, I actually found that this build works pretty not bad. Our conversion to Aether damage happens with 3 pieces of gear. A piece of gear and 2 components, so technically 3 pieces of gear. The first is the Soulflare pistol, which gives us 13-ish. I think it's 15 as its max. Maybe, might be 20. It might be 15 and then it deviates up and down. But the Soulflare pistol plus the Aether Steel bolts are our first 2 sets of conversion, and then the Wrathstone also converts physical damage to Aether damage. Now, the thing about converting physical damage is it not only converts your damage, as in the damage that's listed here, it converts skill damage as well. So if you have an attack that deals physical damage, it gets converted to whatever damages you have that, say, you know, converts to this damage. So in this case, her three pieces of Aether conversion convert the physical base damage of Wind Devils by about, you know, 30% and change. 35% I think is the total I got, right? 10, 20, and then 33% is converted over to Aether. So these are going to be dealing, they're about 90, so yeah, they're about 30 is the base Aether damage. Run through the damage formulas and through a percent Aether damage, they're actually going to be dealing some okay damage on their own. Combined with the fact that we're gearing not only Aether, but Lightning, their Lightning Bolts are going to hit massively, massively hard. So our Wind Devils are actually a not bad little summon we have. We have 300 in both the Aether and the Lightning, which is still, you know, it's a pretty respectable amount of damage on both sides. And our Aether Ray is about half what you would normally get in terms of DPS, but I mean, or in terms of just damage per tick, I should say. But I mean, it's an Aether Ray. It's gonna be just hosing that damage down, just hosing enemies with that damage. Otherwise, we're running Haunt as our relic. I'm 3-piecing the Royal Exuberance set because there is physical damage on it, and the percent physical damage is gonna heighten up our Wind Devils, which is converted to Aether damage. In addition to being, you know, elemental damage, and it has some not bad resists on it, and some not bad other stuff. It's actually a really solid set to pick up. So we got the Thunderstruck Leatherbound Spellbook of the Aether, which is, you know, our Aether Lightning weird combination spellbook. Devastating Imperial Hat of Spellweaving, which is Fire, Lightning, Aether. Fire does help our beam. And the Consecrated Ornate Robe of Spellweaving, which the Lightning Aether was the Spellweaving in this case. The rest of the gear, I think, is all pretty inconsequential. Pretty regular. And, yeah, we're just going to jump into that same hallway again and just run the hallway. So you're going to basically end up... the way I look at this as... You're basically ending up with a character who has a really good sidearm Aether Ray, while they're kind of almost like supporting the totems, because you're kind of split, well, I should say tornadoes and totems, because you're kind of split between these two aspects of the character. I wouldn't say it's like wielding a half beam and a half tornado. It's a little better than that. It is almost like the half soup, half sandwich combo, if you think about it like that. And I think with some perfecting, it could be really solid. Okay, go away, please. Okay, it could be a really solid, just a really solid build. I'm gonna get that sentence out. Get out of the way. The only I'm so used to not having to shoot, shooting things and just standing there and shooting things. Okay, so for the Zarthazellan here, this is one of those times when Aether Tendril is actually going to be really good, because Aether Tendril is really great against single targets. So we got Zarthazellan dead, and our tornadoes basically swept up everything over here. Pretty cool. So that was both the Druid Beam build concepts I was toying around with. They've got a lot of potential. It's a potentially good combination for the Aether Ray build. If I were to tier all of the build combos, I would actually say like Sorcerers first, then Battle Mage, then the Chaos Beam, the Warlock Beam, then this, then the Nightblade. So, while it's not top of the tier list, it is functional and it does get the job done. And I think with a lot of polish, it could be a really cool and fun and interesting way to play the game. As with the Vitality Beam character. So that covers today's video. Monday's up in the air as to what's going to happen. Because there might be a big change coming this weekend. And we're going to have to see how that goes. But I think I may repurpose a couple other characters to do a Battle Mage Beam and a Spellbreaker Beam, while trying to build up a completely new ground up build, potentially something combining with the Shaman. So that's in the future. But Monday it's actually kind of up in the air, depending on what happens this weekend. And it may be Monday's video might get delayed till Tuesday. So I apologize ahead of time for that. Anyways, that'll cover my Grim Dawn video for today. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember to check me out on Tumblr, Twitter, Instagram, and Patreon. It's all Wolf Overclocked. And also check out youtube.com/wolfoverclocked. That's the normal non-gaming channel where I do art and stuff. So thanks for watching again, and I'll see you guys next time.